In 2015, Treyarch and Activision came together once again to release another Call of Duty. With popular titles in their past such as Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, BO3 had a lot to live up to. But what we did not know was the masterpiece of a zombies mode that we were about to receive. Black Ops 3 Zombies wasn't just another addition to the franchise, it became the new standard. From the chilling atmosphere of Shadows of Evil to the return of fan-favorite maps like the giant and unforgettable Easter egg quests across Eisendrache, Zetsubou No Shima, Gorod Krovi, and the epic finale in Revelations. This mode took the community on an adventure that we would never see again. I had always played this game with the intention of completing these Easter egg quests, due to my completionist nature, but not all people are like that. My close friends over the past 10 years had not been as attached to the Easter egg side of zombies. They instead joined the more chill, player versus entity based style of the mode. But I always wanted to change this. So today we embark on a journey of helping my friends complete all the BO3 Easter eggs for their first time. It shouldn't be that bad. The first Easter egg of Black Ops 3 is Shadows of Evil. It is hands down one of my favorite maps of all time. From the noir style, where it feels like you're in some sort of detective film, and it also just has a relatively easy Easter egg. You start off by going into beast mode, getting the summoning key, shocking ritual items, and just opening up doors around the map. Using the items we use for beast mode, we can start the first ritual. And after the first ritual is where the problem of me being the leader starts to really come through.
I'm taking the train.
Okay.
I'm ready for the box whenever.
Oh fuck! Whoa!
Tucker,
Shit!
get off the train! Oh my god! I thought you were joking.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Fuck?
Oh.
My bad. I didn't know about
You're an
any of
anal?
that.
Well, here comes the biggest step of every Easter egg, the immolation box setting, which was almost useless until I got the haymaker. Then we do the next ritual, which takes place in the boxing gym, which is always a bitch because this place is so small. But we end up getting it done. Then, for the eventual specialist weapon of the map that you have to get, I have to take the tram and look through 3 of these glowing windows. I get my first symbol, then I get my second symbol. While I was out getting the symbols, my teammates were doing the rituals like the good boys they are. Doing the rituals, you get the gate worms, and you can put the gate worms in these 4 pedestals around the pack-a-punch room, which then starts one final ritual, which isn't that hard, and it allows you to open up pack-a-punch. Like I said, the final ritual isn't that hard. You start it, you kill some things like a fucking boss, and then it's over. It's not hard at all. In this next bit, just ignore what my chat is saying, but I go out and I get my 3rd symbol, and then I can go down to the pack-a-punch area where I can then go into beast mode and shock the 3 symbols, which then unlocks the pedestal to get the swords. Once you open them, you go over, you grab your egg, and then 4 places around the map there are these apothecant statues. And you put the egg in there, but I always seem to forget when you're supposed to get them out. Can I get a reminder? Until your egg glows.
You got something to do with all this?
Oh yeah, thanks you sexy beast. Now you take your egg after it's done, and you go to the next location. Then, at the next statue by the boxing gym, the dementia kicks in, and I can't help but to forget, when the hell do I take out this fuck?
Barely.
It'll make like a little
But
ting,
yes, it's good now.
and then it'll glow white. Thank you for the clarification, and I'm sorry that it got that bad. But after that egg's done, then you go to the next one, and poor Aiden, he can't cut it.
God, how long is this thing gonna last for?
He
It
does
was
not
done.
just die.
It was done.
You're kidding.
It showed it was done on my fucking
Your
screen.
fucking pants down, huh?
Of course, Big Sexy is the prostitute. So fitting.
Happening to this
Oh.
Very fitting.
After that, just absurd comment, and Aiden struggling for his poor life. You take the egg and you go to the last location, which is right next to the Ruby Rabbit. I finished getting the last couple of kills on my final statue, and then you can take the egg, and then you can go finally collect your sword. After you get your sword, you then are getting towards the end game of the Easter egg. The next step is to go to your original ritual station for your character. So in this, I'm the police officer, so I have to go to the Ruby Rabbit and pick up my Archovum. Once you get your Archovum, you then have to go around the map, and outside of the 4 ritual stations, there'll be a red circle on the ground. You place down your Archovum, you kill the Margwas, and it's really not that hard. After doing my first Archovum, I then get a chat that just perfectly shows what Tucker is.
It's on the
Since
I know,
at least
right?
My Archo.
more
Jay
advanced
just put in
warfare, at least.
chat, Tucker the tanker.
Shadows is honestly probably
Then, on every Archovum after this, my second one happens to be the boxing gym, more Margwas will spawn. So I kill the 2 Margwas, and then I can go to my next spot. Then on my next one, which is outside of the spawn, there's this cool little trick you can do where you can get these little fuses around the map, which spawns in the Civil Protector, and if you spawn the Civil Protector on top of the Margwas, then it just insta-kills them. My god, do I love CP. What's that? I'm being told that apparently there's another word for CP, but I mean Civil Protector. I can then go back to the Ruby Rabbit and finally upgrade my sword by giving it back to the ritual person. Then go help my teammates out by using, you guessed it, the Civil Protector! God damn it. I mean Civil Protector, I swear. I then go through the tedious task of helping them get their Archovums done, which they didn't die once. It just didn't happen. I was able to easily get them right through this step with 0 problems whatsoever. Basically, the last real Easter egg step is holding onto that book, and then that takes you to the flag step, the part that most people truly dread about the Shadows of Evil Easter egg, which it's not that hard. Basically what happens is you carry around this flag, placing it on these lightning posts around the map and taking them to the ritual rooms, while endless hordes of flaming meatballs of unknown mystery meat, it could be deer ankle for all I know, comes around the map. We did it a breeze. I didn't die once. And so you take it and we finally get it done, and then you get to the boss fight. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest here, this boss fight is a fucking joke. You hold on to these keepers, and then it spawns in the Shadow Man, and you have to shoot him until he goes over the altar. But all you have to do is bring in a fatal contraption, spawn in a minigun, and spray him down. It is impossible to lose, and you just have someone wait for it, and then you hold on to the altar whenever he's over it, and the boss fight is done. The next step is what sucks. This may be a controversial take, I don't know, but I think the final step of the Shadows of Evil Easter egg is the dumbest step in all of Easter eggs. You basically have almost an infinite Margwa mode, where you run into these white balls and it keeps your sanity while your friends shock the shit out of these boxes in the train stations, and then one person in spawn shocks keepers, and then you destroy the alien. It's so dumb and tedious and sucks. After doing the most tedious step in all of COD Zombies, you then are rewarded with a super short cutscene that packs a punch. Richtofen comes in, steals the summoning key, and runs off. And the next map it's a common one, it's the Giant, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to waste time telling you the Easter egg steps, so we're gonna speedrun this. First step is spawn in. Second step, pack-a-punch your gun. Third step, shoot a box. Fourth step, shoot a teddy bear. Fifth step, shoot another teddy bear. Sixth step, shoot the final teddy bear, and then you go underneath to the furnace and grab your specialist. That's it. We did it. This brings us to the next map, the Eisendrache. It is probably the fan favorite map of Black Ops 3, and if you ask someone what their favorite map is, odds are they'll end up saying Der Eisendrache, which I completely understand. The Easter egg is fun, and getting the wonder weapons is an absolute blast. The first step is filling up the dragons. You feed the dragons about 6 zombies each, and then you can go and grab your bow. Once you get your bow, you can turn it into one of 4 elemental bows, either wolf, lightning, void, or fire, and I choose to get fire. So I shoot up in the clock tower and get my first broken arrow. After my arrow, I go down to rocket test site to where I have to shoot this flaming rock whenever the doors open up. And it's a little annoying, but after a few tries, you will get it. And with this, here's a friendly reminder from Aiden on how to stay healthy.
Alright, chat. Remember to stay hydrated, guys.
Remember
Hot
to
out there.
stay hydrated. With that hype reminder, I hit my first trick shot. With that comes the immolation step of every Easter egg, and I'll let you decide if I was happy or not. Oh my god, last hit, I got it. Let's fucking go. After that epic box luck, I get hype and hit my second trick shot. Then, after hitting your epic 360 phase no-scope YY trick shots, you then go to each circle that you hit your YY trick shot train shot Sui off the map, and then fill it up with about 10 zombie souls, and then you have to go find a fireplace that has your symbol that you get from the top of the clock tower. So you see me go up to the top of the clock tower and spin the little dial until it eventually lands on a red symbol, which I then have to remember and go find a campfire. It's a little hard to see, but then you can see in this clip that I find my fireplace, and then I have to go hit some more sweet YY trick shots. I stand in my circle and shoot it once, that brings the volcano there. Then I hit a sweet lineup, which takes me directly in front of the fireplace, to which then I can shoot my last shot into it. Then I'm greeted with a max ammo, and I can go back up to the top where a lowered sun will be ready for me to activate. And once I activate it, in one of the coolest little steps in Easter egg history, the sun just explodes and I get my final arrow. Then I can take my bow down into the zero gravity room underneath the main castle, where I can put my arrow into its designated box, and then I can start filling it up with souls. Whenever the souls are done, it rises from the box and I'm able to pick up my upgraded bow, but we don't need it quite yet. I replace my upgraded bow with the original bow that we got from filling the dragons and go into the teleporter room, to which I need to shoot these little electrical balls on the top of the teleporter to start the wisp step. With the wisp step, around the map, these 4 glowing blue electrical fields will show up and you have to shoot them with your bow. I get my one in spawn, they get theirs, and we're able to teleport back in time. Once we go back in time, I pick up these little fuses that are on a box, and my teammate picks up this blue tube that we need for later in the Easter egg. And then we need to remember our code. The code we get is Bolt Squid Circle, and we got this first try.
You need to buy
After my washed Easter egg knowledge then remembers that up on top of the electrical trap, you have to flip it over to protect. What a dumb step. And then you can put in your code and you can move on. Our code this time ended up being circle, squid, and H. With this code, it opens up the locker down in the teleport room, where we go back up to the trap and we have to put these fuses on each side of the Wonder Balls. Then comes the iconic Simon Says step. You have to remember the order that these computers are in, so I get squid, circle, bolt, H. And basically one symbol will come up at a time and you have to keep repeating it up at the trap and at the rocket test. Then we go up top and what do we do? I always seem to forget what this step does. We're intercepting Dempsey! Dempsey then crashes through the bell tower, falls into the courtyard, and then you go pick up the key. You then run down, and where you picked up your bow, you put the key in, which spawns in an escort keeper. But we ignore that for now, because we need to go back in time again, so we do another wisp step. I shoot my one in spawn, and then we're able to teleport back again, and then we hold on the Chronorium, and we pick up a tablet in the side of the room. Once we get back, we find the escort keeper where there is a circle with a glowing color that indicates which bow you're supposed to get kills with. So our first one is the void bow. Then we get my bow. Then we have to do the wolf bow. And then finally we use the tablet that we picked up by going back in time, and then we do the lightning bow. It was at this point that I realized that Aiden didn't exactly know how to use the charge shot on the lightning bow, but I went down by my accord. I suck. I won't blame him. With this, we are now boss fight ready. We have to gather down in the zero gravity room and pull out our gravity spikes and slam them on the 4 pads. This boss fight also isn't that bad, but it's definitely more challenging than Shadows. You basically just run around in this small little area where eventually the Keeper will go over the middle and you have to put your Ragnaroks down, and then you just spray into the Keeper's chest. After you take down the Keeper for the first time, then you get into the actual challenging part, which is the wave of Panzers that flies in. I remember doing this Easter egg when I was younger and never being able to get past this part, and so just to be safe, because I wasn't exactly confident, I went in with Fatal Contraption and easily made a joke of these Panzers. And then after killing the Panzers, you just do more of the Keepers, and then after shooting him for the final time, he's done. The XM53 absolutely destroys him. But even with the boss fight done, the Easter egg still isn't done quite yet. You spawn back in, you take the summoning key and you put it in the pyramid, and then pull it back out, which you then take up to the computer up where you did Simon Says, and then you put it on there, and then you get to watch as we send rockets to blow up the moon. I remember watching this part for the first time and just seeing the absolute cinema. Whenever it fully explodes, this map becomes even more beautiful. And then that takes us to the cutscene, where once again we have to collect a soul. So Dempsey goes over, grieves his past self, and Richtofen takes Dempsey's old soul and puts it into the summoning key. And then we end our lives in a trap. And with this comes my most controversial take of all time as a Zombies fan. Zetsubou No Shima. My personal, single favorite Zombies map of all time. The atmosphere of this map is untouched. For this Easter egg, you once again have to get the specialist weapon, so I grab a skull, and then I look at my challenges. My 3 challenges are shoot 5 spores, kill 15 zombies attracted to plants, and headshot 5 mutated zombies. Now it's time for the first ritual. Be ready for greatness. Oh man, did that make you feel young again? I bet so, and I apologize. But once we get all of our skulls done, we then have to get our specialist weapon. So we put our skulls in the podium, and then we go down, and we have to activate our Skull of Non-Sopway and just get a couple of kills. And then after it's done, we're able to pick up our Skull of Non-Sopway and go on with the Easter egg. I have Aiden help me with one of my challenges, and then I help him, but he gets a little antsy. Sam,
God
bring that guy
damn.
over here. Bring that guy over here.
You
I
walk
need the
slower
zombie.
than my fucking grandma, dude.
After I disappoint Aiden, it's then time for the immolation step. Which was once again useless. Good news, however, it's spider round. I go and lower the cage, trap a spider, go back up top, he'll get his goo sucked out, and then I pick up the goo. Now I go down into the bunker, where I have to go to the purple water room and mesmerize this poster on the wall. Once that's mesmerized, I can go up, mesmerize this wall, which will open up the gears for the elevator. Then while finishing the challenges, I get a KT4 part and fire sale. Oh, I got marshals, let's fucking go. Then while going down into the bunker to do the next step, Aiden gets a little upset at me.
God, take the stairs out of respect, man. Jesus.
I apologize, biggest of sexies. I swim down, pick up the plant, and then I have Aiden mesmerize a wall for me that we'll use later to upgrade the KT4. I then go up and build the KT4, to which I can start the upgrade process. I have to take the sewer down, and on the right wall there'll be this blue glowing rock. I hold the activate button and fill up my bucket with the rainbow water. I can then go down and plant a seed and use the rainbow water for 3 consecutive rounds to which a plant will grow, and that's the first part for the upgraded KT4. Next comes the spider boss fight. I can go up with the KT4, shoot the webs over by one of the perk locations, and go down to start the mini boss fight. It is so cool, and it is not difficult whatsoever. Once you go in there, you will not struggle. I promise you will not struggle. After getting help from my chads of teammates, I'm able to pick up the spider tooth, and that's the second part for the Masamune. Then I start the tedious task of getting the missile, where you have to plant seeds and shoot them with your KT-4. I then take Aiden to get the last part, where we have our shields get shocked, and then we go over to the second gen, where he shocks this control box. I go into a cage, he lowers me, I pick up the vial, and then he brings me back up, and I can upgrade the KT-4 into the Masamune. While we were doing this, the seeds were growing, and I was able to go see if I got the missile, and I wasn't that excited. Got it, thank you! Holy shit! I then take the missile over to the flat gun, where I'm able to load it and blow this plane into a million fucking smithereen pieces. I then watch the cog fall and pick it up right outside of the bunker. I then get my shield shocked, where whenever Aiden takes the zip line, I can hit the box and he can fall and grab our second cog. The final cog you get from using the Anywhere But Here Gobblegum, so I pick it up and I use it. It teleports me right above the first generator, where I'm able to grab the cog and jump down. Then I'm able to put the cogs in the elevator, we load up into the elevator, and we're able to go down. In the boss fight, and in the room into the boss fight, you have to use your Masamune to shoot these orange parts on the branches. Once you get in, you start the boss fight by shooting the orange on the branch, and then you have to wait while Takio slams his fist down, and you're killing the manglers mindlessly as you run around, and the Skull of Nonstop is really, really good in this boss fight. After a little bit of just running around, killing things mindlessly, you'll slowly get all of the pieces, and then you're able to shoot the last orange one, and that's Easter egg complete. In this cutscene, Takio figures out that the other Takio was put into place by the Emperor himself. This absolutely shocks Takio and leads for the other Takio committing seppuku. And that gives the third soul. My favorite map of all time is done. So once we end our game, we then move on to another great map of Black Ops 3. Gorod Krovi. The most badass map in this game. And right off the bat, I get some wicked luck.
It's just, I don't think anyone deserves to be cheated on.
No way. The first thing whenever you turn power on is zombies will start to drop Groff Pod modules. So you pick them up, use them, and then you pick up the first Pack-a-Punch piece, the second Pack-a-Punch piece, and then Aiden lets us know how his game is going.
Okay.
I'm actually pissed.
I'm sorry about that, Big Sexy, but we're gonna grab our last Pack-a-Punch part and put it in the pieces down in the bunker. For this Easter egg, you need a total of 6 trophies around the map. So the first one we get from shooting right there, the second one we get from using our shield and blasting this pipe, and then we get to do one of the coolest thing in zombies and ride the dragon to frickin' Pack-a-Punch. Once you get kicked off the dragon into Pack-a-Punch, you then have to go do a lockdown sequence where there's 3 designated sides of the building, and each one at a time they will open up and you have to defend a certain area for a certain amount of time. Once that's done, you can go grab your Dragon Strike controller, which is going to be used for later parts in the Easter egg. We then shoot the egg, pick it up, and go into the sewer. We shoot a light, which makes a trophy come out of a toilet for Aiden to pick up successfully.
And I lost everything. I pulled out the shield.
Oh, well...
Yeah, I lost everything.
You put the egg in the nest, wait for the dragon to blow fire on it, and then we let the dragon go ahead and spray on him, spray on him, spray on him, spray on him. We then kill those zombies for the challenge, and then Aiden gives a history lesson.
Takia, your people are going to understand this in a very short couple of years after the bombings. It's technology.
Oh my sweet god. Well, we get the kills with the shield, and then we have to go incubate the egg. We then do a super simple and super easy lockdown where we kill zombies, and then we're ready for the dial step. For For the dial step, there's 6 dials around the map that we flip and put to certain numbers using a map on chronorium.com. You're welcome, Mr. Ruffle Waffles. We're then able to pick up the pink cylinder and go to spawn and use our egg and pick up our specialist. We're then able to use our specialist and our mega fisting fist to then pick up a trophy, and then we use the trap and our Dragon Strike controller and we pick up 2 more trophies. Once the trophies are picked up, we can put our pink cylinder as Sophia and put the code Kronos into the machine and accept the password. We can then put our 6 trophies on this stand and then we'll get a random trophy. The first one happens to be the Mangler trophy, which once again, we did excellent. It's great. Just shoot off his cannon arm and then bring him to the middle. Oh, you killed him.
Damn it.
But after seriously cheesing it the second time and shooting off the cannon arm and bringing him back, we're able to do it second try. Now it's time for the second trophy. We click the button and get another random one. This one happens to be one of the easiest ones. You go to one of the sides and there will be a Gersh pod outside. You then defend the Gersh pod for a certain amount of time, use your specialist, it picks it up, and then you pick up the piece it brings back without anyone dying. You can drop that piece back off at Sophia, and then you go click the button again, get another random trophy. The trophy we got this time was just shooting the Gersh soul. You run around the map, find a yellow orb, and spray the ever-living shit out of it until he eventually screams, he goes back to dragon control, and he ends up getting killed and erased from existence. We then click the button again, and this time we get the Valkyrie Escort, which is also another very easy one. If you have the idolized Gobblegum, you can literally just walk it like it's an infant baby all the way down to Dragon Command with no worries. We then get it dropped off, and then we click the button again, knowing what's next, the bomb step. What the bomb step is it'll slowly give you all 6 locations, and there's my little goofy ass recording it. I put it in slow-mo for you. It goes Tank Factory, Armory, Infirmary, Supply Depot, Department Store, then Dragon Command. So you have to go find those locations and hit the bombs in a certain order, and if you mess up once, you're basically done. The game ends, but we ended up getting it first try. We can then go click the button again and get the final trophy, which means you go back to Pack-a-Punch and you do another lockdown. But in this lockdown, it's only running Manglers. So if you could bring in one last Mangler and shoot off its arm cannon, you can just walk it around and you'll be done after just the download process. You don't have to kill any extras. We then pick up the key card, and then you can take it and drop it off back at Sophia. After a little bit, she'll give you Nikolai's power core, which you can then run into spawn and use your specialist and give back to Nikolai. Now we're boss fight ready. We're able to go back, stand on the vent where Sophia once was, and then we're able to jump into the boss fight. Once we're launched into the boss fight, you have to run into the middle and click a button, which will wake Nikolai back up, and then he will run around shooting the dragon with his spikes, and then you have to shoot the dragon in the weak spots. And after a couple of weak spots, you'll go to his throat, you shoot his throat, and then he explodes into a million pieces. After the dragon explodes, you then get a short first-person cutscene that takes place before the actual boss fight. But for this boss fight, I know this is a little dumb, but we cheesed it hard because we were struggling. We popped Idolize, and then we ran over, and you just shoot the weak spots with Idolize on. No zombies can hurt you, and it is literally impossible to lose the boss fight. So we shoot the 2 lights, shoot the parts on top, and then we spray into the power core. And once we do that, Gorod Krovi's done. All the struggle we went through was over. Now that we're in the cutscene, we get to see Primus Nikolai anger Ultimus Nikolai, where Ultimus Nikolai tries to shoot Primus Nikolai, and then Ultimus Nikolai ends up getting killed, which gives us our final soul to move on to Revelations. Revelations is a pretty badass finale to Black Ops 3, even though a lot of people didn't like it. It is a collaboration of all of the maps put together in some sort of weird, twisted way that all resounds around the original map Nocturne and Toten. Using our token immolation, we're able to then get the Margwa gun, which is the #1 thing in this step, where you have to shoot these blue orbs to pack punch it. We then have to go back to spawn and shoot these gravestones in the order in which we collected their souls. Then after shooting the last few Pack-a-Punch rocks, we can then go into the Apothicon himself, which is where Pack-a-Punch lays. You have to shoot the 3 main organs that holds the Pack-a-Punch, and then Pack-a-Punch drops down. Now we move on to getting the reels. The first reel you get by crafting the summoning altar, getting the points, building the summoning altar, spawning in the keeper, and then taking him to a small rock in which you crouch on, and then he starts his ritual. After protecting the ritual for a short amount of time, he will then drop a reel, which you can then pick up. We take the reel to the player in Nocturne and Toten, and then we go into the Apothicon. Inside the Apothicon there are 9 spawning holes. You throw your Arnies into the 9 spawning holes, and it is very easy to get twisted around, and that's why this step sucks. But you do that, it spawns 9 Margwas, you kill the 9 Margwas, then you can get your second reel. The reel sits on the little pathway in the middle of the Apothicon. You pick it up, and while we're here, we Pack-a-Punch the Apothicon servant since we got all the blue rocks. God damn, this gun looks sexy. Now you take the tape over to the player, put it in the player in Keynote or Toten, and then you can start the rock step. How anybody found this step is beyond me. There are people out there who are way smarter than me, because I would never think to run around the map shooting these super small rocks with a Pack-a-Punch gun and then sucking them up with the Apothicon. Especially the one on the wall run. Who figured that out? They deserve a Medal of Honor. So I'm able to pick up the last few rocks, the one on the wall run and then one in Shangri-La. Then I run over to Origins, get the one in Origins. God, I'm such a nerd. And then once we've shot all the bones, we go and shoot them again because they're sitting on the top level of Nocturne and Toten, and then we shoot the body that comes out of that portal, and then we can get our last reel. We then put the reel in the Origins player, and then Sophia will go over to Nocturne and Toten and go into this invincible form. You then have to hop on the 4 corruption engines around the map and shoot these little rocks that are out on the edge, to which it'll beam the light back to Nocturne and Toten, and they will all sit on top of Sophia. So I run over, finish the last 2, the ones in Verrucht, and then the one in Mob the Dead. We then have to hurry back before the beams disappear and activate Sophia, where we then transport her, and she sits her clanker wireback ass on top of the teleporter. Once that's done, you can go into the teleporter and you can teleport to Samantha's room, where sitting on her bed will be a copy of the Chronorium, and you pick it up and then you take it back into Kino and put it on this pedestal. Then around the map in random places, 4 eggs will spawn, and you go pick them up and you put them inside of these little pods in the Apothicon, where you then have to kill zombies next to them to get souls. And I kind of upset Aiden here.
I got this one.
After this, we're able to take the hatched eggs and pick up one of the worms. You then have to, one at a time, pick up the worms, run around the map, and pick up 4 various symbols around the map. My first one being in Verrucht, my second one being near spawn, my third one being in Eisendrache, and my 4th one being right outside Mob of the Dead. Once that's done, you can then go into the first of 2 boss fights on this map, where you go stand in this purple circle and you're teleported to the boss fight. Once you get there, there's a book sitting at the front of the room that's going to display the 4 symbols that you picked up. So you look at the book and then you hold tab and you're able to tell which symbol in which order based off of your leaderboard in the bottom right. Once you get your order, you put in your 4 symbols up at the top, and then starts the Margwa boss fight. In this boss fight, there's 4 different waves of elemental type Margwas you have to fight. The first wave being this electrical one, where you basically just have to avoid the tornadoes and all the electrical strikes, and then once you kill it, then you move on to the next wave. Then you have the fire wave, where lava will be on the ground and it'll slowly raise up in a floor is lava type fight, where you then have to kill the Margwas, and once they're dead, you move on to the next one. Then you have the zero gravity wave, where you jump around, you have to stay alive by being on these white circles on the ground, and once you kill all of the Margwas, then you move on to the final phase, which is another electrical type phase where walls will come up and will block the Margwas off for you, and you can just farm all the Margwas from there. After all the waves are done, the summoning key will lower down in the middle of the room and you have to pick it up, and then you have to run around the map in a really cool step where you have to throw the summoning key at all these really important spots, including 1 at Kino, 1 in Eisendrache, 1 in Shangri-La, 1 in Origins, 1 in Mob of the Dead, 1 in Nocturne Toten, and then finally 1 in Varuk. Now you're ready for the final boss fight of Black Ops 3, which is really a letdown because it is insanely easy. You run over, you put the summoning key in a pedestal, you kill zombies next to it for souls, and then you have to throw it in Sophia in the middle, and then you just shoot the shit out of the Shadow Man, and then after jumping up and down for a max ammo that you can't reach because you are an idiot, the boss fight's over. You hold on your book and you're done. And always remember, don't be that guy, and always remember. Alright, mute up. With the ending of Black Ops 3 coming upon us, we then see the final cutscene where the 4 characters meet up with Dr. Monty, where he then realizes that the vials that Richtofen has on him cannot be allowed in this universe, to which he then does the only thing he can, and sends them back to the Great War, ending the Black Ops 3 storyline. Black Ops 3 overall, in my opinion, is the definition of a perfect Call of Duty Zombies game. All the way through, every map is an absolute banger. From the bottom of my heart, I really do appreciate you guys watching this video. I'm glad I was able to make my friends and their awesome dream come true. Even though none of them really wanted to do this, I was able to drag them along, and they were able to spawn in with the RK5, and that's all that matters to me. Really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Goated ending.